Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to End Times Talk. I am going to show you something here. And about 5 days ago, AOL came out with this article. Iran's war faces a dangerous new threat. Houthi rebels are preparing to shut the Bab el-Mandeb Strait on behalf of Iran. All right, this was 5 days ago. All right, this is the Houthi-controlled area right here. Let me blow this up some more here. Hold on. My whole entire StreamYard's a mess real quick. Hold on. All right, so that area highlighted in red is the Houthi-controlled area of Yemen. This is Yemen right here. So Saudi Arabia, okay, is blocked by the Strait of Hormuz, okay, over here. All right. And the Red Sea Strait, right here, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, is what Saudi Arabia has been using to get oil out. This takes care of 20% of the world's oil supplies. From what I understand so far, and I could be wrong, but I don't believe that I am, this strait controls 7% of the world's oil supply. That is more than a quarter of the world's oil supply. All right. Now, hold on a second here, because I don't want to lose that article, but I want to show you something else here. The Houthis have declared just now, all right, just a little bit ago, the Houthis have declared a maritime blockade against Saudi Arabia. This is astronomical. The Iran-aligned Houthi militia announced on Monday, July 20th, an immediate maritime blockade against Saudi Arabia, marking a new escalation following days of military and political tensions linked to unauthorized Iranian flights to Houthi-controlled Sana'a airport. In a televised statement, Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Sari said the group had decided to impose a maritime navigation ban on the Saudi enemy under what he described as a blockade for blockade, basically an eye for an eye equation. He added that the decision took effect immediately, so it's already happening, upon the statement's issuance. Sari accused Saudi Arabia of imposing a comprehensive land, sea, and air blockade on Yemen for nearly 12 years. Blah, blah, blah. No, this is an excuse for them to basically attack the world's oil supply is what it is. And that is exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. And I've been telling everybody they have no intentions of us continuing to stay on an oil-based system. They want to do away with the combustible engine. And as oil becomes more obsolete, the companies that you trust are going to tell you, hey, use this oil, or hey, use that oil, or hey, you can use this if you don't have this kind, or hey, why don't you pour some Crisco in there while you're at it, or some vegetable oil or something, and that'll keep it functioning when all the oil is running out, and slowly but surely everybody's combustible engine deteriorates. So this is a war on oil. They want an electrical grid system because the AI data centers cannot control an oil-based system. The governments will still have an oil-based system. They will still produce oil for themselves. But when it comes to the rest of society, we are heading towards a greater energy crisis. And I think you're about to see the reality of what's been happening with the price of gas is about to skyrocket and go through the roof. All right. And it already has been going up. It's about $10-15 more a barrel in the past week or so, 2 weeks, than what it was before then, and because there's been this new upheaval in Iran, and the reality of the instability of the oil markets are actually starting to take grip in all these people that have been worried about, the paper futures of oil and been, optimistic that, hey, everything's going to work out. It's going to be okay. This oil-based system is going to come back to us and everything's going to continue on as it was. And we say here all the time on this channel, normal isn't coming back. Jesus is coming back. All right. And this goes to show that we are heading towards Agenda 2030. Mark my words. I've been saying it. But this event right here is major, major, major news. All right. This adds a significant additional choke on global oil supplies. And it compounds the existing disruption from the Strait of Hormuz. All right, the Strait of Hormuz, an Iran-controlled disruption, already cutting roughly 20% of global oil supply. Previously, supposedly 20 to 21 million barrels per day flowed through it, and that's all halted. You know, Trump can tell you he's doing what he's doing, but I believe that's American propaganda. They're trying to falsely keep all this propped up as long as they can, so that way when it really comes time to pull the tablecloth from under the meal, you know how like the magicians will take that tablecloth, you know, and pull it out, you know, from under beneath everything, all the glass. Some people can pull it out easily with nothing falling, but these people are about to pull everything, and everything's coming off the table with it. I'm telling you, we're talking, in my opinion, we could see societal unrest, upheaval, civil unrest, whatever you want to call it. Now, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, all right, which is this new Houthi-controlled disruption, all right, is about 7% of global oil supply, all right, in recent months, because they ship about 7 to 7.4 million barrels of oil per day, and this has become an especially important strait because Saudi Arabia has been rerouting their oil exports at the Bab el-Mandeb Strait that Yemen is right up close to. And, you know, the east-west pipeline to the Red Sea, okay? And so there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And it seems to me that, you know, combined, you know, we're looking at a 27%, more than a quarter of the world's oil supply being controlled by madmen, you know. But these people are doing their Illuminati job. They are following their Illuminati orders, all right. And they told us 5 days ago they were going to do it. Now they're doing it, and you know, it just proves that, again, you know, like I've been trying to tell everybody and warn everybody for quite some time here, like this isn't going to let up. You're not going to see this ease up. All right. And, you know, I can't stay on super long today because I have an interview to do today for my documentary where I'm exposing, you know, a pedophile network that's operating in Grand Rapids, Michigan, a very high up pedophile network. And it's connected to a lot of different stuff. And so I have an interview I got to do for that today. And so I can't stay on super long, but it just, I've been trying to warn people, and I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm going to say I've been warning people to expect things to get worse, not better, because that Agenda 2030, their own words, they tell us you will own nothing, you will have nothing, and you will like it. They say that Western values will be tested to the breaking point. Klaus Schwab says you will eat the bugs. You know, they are preparing 15-minute cities, and something has to carry us to that. You know what I'm saying? And these are all signs that Jesus is coming soon. This is all signs. This is exactly what the Bible has been foretelling: distress of nations with perplexity, and all the different back and forth wars and rumors of wars and all these different nations coming against each other. And there these kingdoms that are forming. They're working on it right now. They're working on the 10 kingdoms. We talk about that awful long time for an awful long time here. All the time we bring it up, and you know, we bring up how I do believe, and I'm telling people on my channel, this is my speculation and theory, that we are in the beginning stages of World War III, but just the beginning, you know, front of World War III. You know, I believe that the power players in World War III are getting staged, and I don't believe, and I'm going to tell you something. I've never said this publicly. I'm going to tell you something. This is me really going out on a limb here. I don't believe World War III can finish before the rapture happens. So that's how close I believe we are to the rapture. It can happen any day now, any moment now. Especially like you see these big things happen. This is huge. This is so massive and so big that this is happening. That the Houthis are effectively enforcing a sea navigation ban on all Saudi vessels. And it starts with Saudi vessels. but it's going to get worse. And this is a coordinated effort with Iran. Reuters literally reported that Iran had pressed the Houthis to be ready to close the Bab el-Mandeb if the U.S. continued striking Iranian power structure. All right, and when you go to these different pages, like, hold on, give me a second here. When you go to these different pages that are from other countries, and the computer translates them. Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis said on Monday they were imposing a naval blockade on Saudi Arabia, a move that opens a new front against the United States. See, there we go. It's not Saudi Arabia when people in Asia are reporting it, right? Now it's the United States. Do you see how they're doing it? But this is about the United States in its war on Iran widens the threat to global energy supplies and trade beyond the Gulf. Right here. Listen, here it is. Iran had pressed the Houthis to close the Bab el-Mandeb gateway to the Red Sea if the U.S. continued attack on Iranian power infrastructure. Right there. In their statement, the Houthis armed forces said they were declaring a maritime embargo against the criminal Saudi enemy based on the equation of an eye for an eye, effective immediately. But this is about America. And right here, this is interesting. But, it shows Iran's behind it. And this is really more to hurt the U.S. than anything. And so this will hurt the U.S. We are just starting to finally see some of the shock from the oil shock that has been taking place. It's been up, it's been down, it's been up, it's been down. But there's a lot of people believe, and I'm going to say something right here, and I'm not trying to shoot myself in the foot. This is my speculation. I want to be very clear. I believe we're about to see $200 a barrel of oil. I'm going to be honest with you. I really believe that. Because, one, Iran said that they were going to do it, and then they eventually said that they're going to take it to $300 a barrel and that they can do it. That's what Iran came out and said. So now all of a sudden this happened, and Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen are a proxy of Iran. This is one of the tentacles of Iran doing this. And so, I mean, this is something that didn't have to happen. I'm going to be honest with you. We didn't have to get involved with Iran. But the powers that be want the destruction of the oil network of the world. And I have talked about it time and time again. Atlas Shrugged. Not just the movies, but if you read the book is way more accurate and involved and hits the nail on the head even more. But I'm not going to sit here and read a whole book to you, but it is a thick book. There is a lot to Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. But that I was told by someone who was ex-Illuminati that Ayn Rand was a mistress of one of the Rothschilds, and that one of the Rothschilds gave her orders. She was under Illuminati orders to write Atlas Shrugged. And Atlas Shrugged was a document to tell the world what they're going to do to it, and that's solely the purpose. Some things they just put out there because they have to tell you what they're going to do to you. There's a biblical law, and even in their own satanic beliefs, they believe in kind of and I don't believe in karma, but a karma blowback, that bad things are going to come to you if you don't tell your victims what you're doing to them. That's why the Illuminati puts things in card games, in movies, in music, in comic books, in books, and TV shows, and has your politicians doing hand signals and things like that, and your celebrities doing hand signals, and your YouTubers doing hand signals and things like that in order to send out messages. And they even use the money, and mark my words, this new gold coin that Donald Trump's coming out with his mugshot on it, it means something. It's significant. I'm telling you. They change the money when big things start happening. They really do. They start changing money and things like that. They got rid of the penny, all that stuff. Things are changing. Big things are coming. And I've been trying to warn people to prepare. And I'm not saying, break your bank. If you're spending all your money on preps, you're out of control. You need to if you don't have enough, save a little bit. Save some here and there. Or go super cheap. Ramen, rice, and beans. You can't go cheaper than that. Ramen, rice, and beans. You can get a 12-pack of ramen at the store for $4. For $4. And that will last you, if you eat it, that'll last you 6 days. Ramen in the morning, ramen in the evening, ramen at supper time. Anyways, my point is that where there's a will, there's a way. And I just want to see people, if there is something that we're going to face, civil unrest. You don't want to go outside in civil unrest. I'm sorry. The Jesus is coming, but he didn't tell us it was going to be easy before he comes. And it's going to be the enemy's plan to cause complete destabilization when he thinks we're closest to the rapture. Boy, I'm telling you, the devil might not know, but he's got a pretty decent guess, I'm assuming. And same with Jesus. He might not know, might not be being told by the Heavenly Father, and the angels might not know, but I'm sure they see the shortness of the time that we're in right now. And so now that another strait is closed and oil is about to get jacked up again, mark my words, our collapse is coming. I've been trying to say it, been trying to tell people, prepare people slowly but surely, because I don't want anybody getting taken off guard. I don't want you or your family in any trouble. Who here's been here and have heard me talking about the Strait of Hormuz a month before it was actually shut, that it was going to shut, that this is what was coming? I called it out way ahead of time when they were when they were talking about hitting Iran, and there was this back and forth banter between Trump and we might hit it, we might not. We'll have to see in 10 days. You know what I'm saying? Remember that? I was telling people, watch, the strait is about to close. Prepare yourselves, your finances, your household, all that stuff, because things are about to start declining, and we have begun to decline, and it's getting worse now. Iran is pressing the Houthis to do this. Probably saying if you don't cut, if you don't do as you're told, we're going to cut funding. You know what I'm saying? So I have shared what I can share with you, and I have to go do this interview. I have to start preparing for this interview. I want to stay on and I want to talk about this. I have a bunch more news to talk about, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow's live. This is going to be the live for today, because I think this is enough for people to chew on right now. Go look into this more, and because things are not well right now, and things are getting worse. So now 27% of the world's oil supply is affected now. This is Atlas Shrugged blueprint all the way, stopping the motor of the world. How do you stop the motor? It seizes up when there's no more fuel and there's no more oil. It seizes up, it rusts up, it corrodes, and it's over and it's done with. And that is their intention, to stop the motor of the world. May God bless you all. May he keep you in these last days. Get ready. Jesus is coming soon. God bless.